U.S. Open champ Bryson DeChambeau is looking for a $500 million payday from LIV Golf. Clay Travis joins us. Hey, Clay, I thought the Saudis were winding down their financial support for LIV. Is this $500 million deal serious?
Well, I don't blame him for wanting it. I think there's a difference between wanting it and getting it sometimes, as a famous band has sung before, right? You can't always get what you want. But I do believe that Bryson DeChambeau is going to be in a really good spot. And I haven't heard a ton of people talk about this, but it's not only LIV and the PGA, obviously, where he could make a lot of money. His YouTube channel has taken off. And I would argue right now that Bryson DeChambeau has one of the most valuable brands, period, in all of golf. And I think he could make hundreds of millions of dollars spiraling out on his own as a media entity and just playing the majors. And so I think he's going to have a lot of options. But between you and me, Stu, I don't like his odds of getting $500 million from LIV Golf.
Okay, now I do hear that PGA wants LIV players to come back into the fold, so to speak.
Yes.
Do you think that by next year golf will be unified around PGA?
You know, I think it actually turns into more of a business question than a golf question, because my expectation had been for a long time that they would have a merger AFL, NFL style, which led us to the Super Bowl and kind of create some new dynamic aspects of the golf tour. And we've seen some of that start to spiral out with Rory and with Tiger and the things that they have created. But I think the question comes down to what value has LIV created? And are there other investors out there that might believe there is value in coming in, given the dollars that they've already expended, the so-called sunk cost, going forward? And that, to me, is an intriguing question, because maybe it's not just the Saudis who see opportunity in the golf world. Sports in general are white hot right now as an investment thesis. And so I'm curious if the Saudis and the LIV Golf universe could find other subsidiary investors to potentially keep this thing alive. If they could, then I think it's going to continue. If they can't, then I think you're right. We'll see basically a exodus from LIV back into the traditional PGA Tour.
We have to talk New York Mets. I know they're going through a rough stint. They've lost 11 games straight. I want you to listen to what Brian Kilmeade had to say about this earlier on today's show. Watch this.
How else do you explain it? I mean, do you fire the manager, or do you fire Mr. and Mrs. Met, or do you just make sure this mayor's a one-term mayor? It just brings bad karma to a team that's coming off one of the biggest collapses in history. I can't prove it, but I think it has all to do with the hug. Plus, Mr. Met has no neck, and we've just accepted that.
I'm lost. Clay, is this really a Mandami curse, or is there something deeper going on with the Mets? I am told the string of losses may have something to do with Juan Soto.
Let me hit you with a couple of things. I believe the Yankees are 27-12 since President Trump visited the locker room. Meanwhile, the Mets are 0-11 since the handshake between Donnie and Mr. and Mrs. Met. So if I'm Steve Cohen, I'm looking at the data and saying, whatever I have to do, Donald Trump, I need you to come save the Mets and shake hands with Mr. and Mrs. Met to reverse the curse that Donnie has brought to bear. By the way, Steve Cohen was courtside last night, and the Knicks collapsed too. So this guy, I mean, he's cursed right now. Everybody's talking about the Donnie curse, but the Knicks gave up one of the biggest leads in the history of Madison Square Garden last night to the Hawks, and Steve Cohen was sitting courtside in a Mets hat. So now the bad juju has moved from baseball to basketball. We need an exorcism in sports to save him.
You're the man to do it. So great to have you on the show today, man. I know we'll see you again real soon. Now, we've got a sports-related trivia question, actually. In the modern era, which Major League Baseball team holds the record for the most consecutive losses? The Mets, the Mariners, the Phillies, the White Sox. You know, most of the audience should know, I think. I mean, I'm the one on the outside here, so you people should know. And we'll be back after this.